Next. Yes.
Thank you. A hard question. Do you find that with being so well loved that the ability, the freedom to be candid in life is enjoyable, making your life enhanced, or more like overwhelming or surreal? Thank you.
I'm not quite sure if I understand. Because I'm liked, is it easier for me to be candid or not be candid?
Well, the ability to be candid does it make your life more enjoyable, or do you feel vulnerable, making it like more so less enjoyable?
Neither. I mean, it doesn't. I think people appreciate me being candid.
Exactly. That's what.
Yeah.
Hi, Mr. de Lancie. Thank you for being here with us. The last time I saw you at a convention was a while ago. There was a convention for Star Trek in East Lansing, Michigan, where I'm from, so I want to thank you for that. And I found you to be a wonderful speaker, and so that was a highlight of that convention as well as this one for me. What I was wondering, there's a short-lived, late lamented show that you were on that my friends and I absolutely loved and miss, Legend. And I was wondering, with its premature axing, what were your feelings on that? Because I know there's some actors who really get very personally invested in the shows. For instance, like Firefly, the actors were just really, really gutted that it was pulled so soon, and like Legend was. And I was wondering also if, besides your personal feelings on that, do you have any stories that you can tell about it?
Well, Legend was a show that we all liked a great deal, but when we got pulled, it was a little bittersweet. We were working at least 16 hours a day, with an hour's drive, a 2-hour drive both ways. After 9 months, you're gray. You're just gray with it's just too much work. So I had sort of an ironic moment when they told me. I was watching them build a set. We had a fabulous production designer who created the laboratory and all these things. And there was this particular set that I was watching them build. It was in a sound stage, and if you can imagine, it's this enormous cave. So we're down in a cave, okay? And I'm on the ground floor, and I'm just sitting there, and that's where the cave is. But above the cave, in the ceiling of the cave, there's a big hole, and they had put grass there. So what the deal was is that it was a cave, but if you were up on the surface, you could have looked down and go, oh my gosh, look down there, there's a cave. So the light was streaming down. It was really beautiful. It was all sepia colored, very, very beautiful. And on the cave walls were, I forget, designs of some nature. But what was really impressive was that there were wooden crates, and I love the fact that they were wooden crates that they had brought in from the Natural History Museum in Los Angeles, and it was the replica of a dinosaur, a Tyrannosaurus Rex. And the crew, I mean, the set designers were building this, and then the light coming down, what have you. And we're hours on the set. We perform for 10 minutes a day, and we're there for 16 hours. So, most of it is watching, waiting, doing something else. So I'm watching and I'm going, wow, this is fantastic. This is sort of the stuff that got me involved in this business. I mean, when I was a little boy, my first book was a Mysterious Island, and I read all of these kind of boys' literature, and here it is, I'm seeing it. And isn't that wonderful? And isn't it wonderful that I'm part of this? And I get a tap on the shoulder, and it's the producer, and he says, I don't have very good news for you. And I go, what? He says, we've been canceled. picture just sort of crumbled like that. The reason the show was canceled is a reason that is not unusual in our business. Head honchos come in. They're put in a position. They want their shows to do well. And believe me, they have a list an arm long of shows that they would like to now be producing. So they got rid of our show. They actually, I think, got rid of every show that season. It was the first season at UPN. And I heard that 2 years later, UPN, amongst the writing community, and I have a number of friends who are writers, out amongst the writing community, about 2 years later, UPN put out the word that they were looking for a show like Legend. And Michael Piller, who wrote Star Trek, who's lately just died, he wrote the show. Okay, next, yes. How much influence did I have in Q's character development? The best way in which you can really see that, and that is to say that you can really see that with anybody that you watch in a movie or television, is turn the sound off. Okay? If the character still pops with the sound off, then you know how much the actor is bringing to the role. Anecdotes, I'm not good with those. Yes?
I'm sorry, my memory's bad, but I think we did a movie called John Q. Some kids had written it.
A movie called what?
John Q. Some kids had produced it. It was like a life story about you, but you weren't like...
Oh, right.
Yeah, can you just tell me a little bit about it? Because I think a little bit. I was kind of curious of watching it, but I wasn't sure where to get it.
Did you see it?
No, I don't remember watching that.
Oh, there were some kids who presented me with an idea, and I thought the idea was fun, and I said I would go ahead and do it, and it was sort of their high school project. So I was in Chicago performing at Ravinia, and I said I could give you a week, and I went up to near Detroit, and I helped them find a little bit of financing and helped them also find a really fabulous director of photography, a guy who actually did the stuff on Star Trek. And the three of us went there and we shot this little movie.
Good afternoon, Mr. de Lancie. I just want to thank you for being here. I'm sure we all agree that it's been a fantastic meeting to see you. Question for you. You mentioned having a great time on Days of Our Lives. Is there any particular fond memory or favorite production that you've worked on so far?
Since Days of Our Lives?
No, altogether since day one. Since you started your career.
Oh, well, there are lots of shows. I mean, lots of stage plays, lots of concerts that I've done. I mean, you know, generally I'm sort of the 10% rule. 10% of the things that you do actually are memorable. And maybe that's, some people think that that's too high. I mean, think of all the restaurants you've been to. Do you really remember even 10% of them? Or the books you've read, or the movies you've seen, or what have you. But I have had a number of shows. I loved doing Peer Gynt at Lincoln Center. I did that a couple of times. In Aspen, doing a show, doing St. Joan in Aspen. I don't know. I loved working with Mel Brooks. It was great. I mean, so I'm thankful